Hi guys, Carler here with another video. Today I will give you 4 tips on how to constantly reach the master ladder. Since the beginning of my lore history, from the first season, that lore has become available to the public. I have reached master rank and never miss any of it. Collectively, I have 10 master icons and I am here to share to my viewers what do I do to achieve this. So for tip number 1, it is to play aggro. There is a lot of benefits to playing aggro for climbing. Number 1, games are fast, so you can squeeze games for 3 to 5 minutes per games. Let's say for an hour, you can easily have a lot of games that would possibly be wins due to the nature of aggro decks. Win a lot of games in a short period. That is the mantra for aggro. This translates to fast climbs and positive win rates. If you want to learn how to play aggro decks, I have a lot of gameplay videos about aggro decks that you can check in this channel. Watching the videos will be helpful because you can see the perspective of a master rank player. Okay, so that is the first tip. For tip number 2 is play the meta decks. Learning the meta decks doesn't hurt you. In fact, that is the proven way of reaching masters. They are meta decks for a reason. Their consistency in a lot of matchups helps them become the best decks for climbing. In the history of Legends of Runeterra, there are a lot of decks that were meta-defining decks. These meta-defining decks are very significant in a lot of players' success in playing Legends of Runeterra. Decks such as Azure Irelia, Fizz TF, and most recently Arikenen, and a few classics like Heimer Vi, Darrowing, and Lee Sin decks are examples of decks that perform in the highest level of lore, from ladder to tournaments. Learning these decks will also be helpful for you if you want to participate in tournaments because these decks will be added to your deck pool. And usually in tournaments, the most effective strategy is to play meta decks because of, again, its consistency. If you want to learn how to play these meta decks, you can check out my video about these decks in my channel. I recorded a plenty of meta decks for the channel, so you can easily locate that in this YouTube channel. So for tip number 3 is to avoid playing control decks. For those of you who were not familiar, control decks are reactive decks that are usually catered to counter aggressive decks. Most of their win condition comes very late of the game. Control decks are bad for climbing because the games will drag out too much and you will lose the precious minutes that you should have used to climb for an aggro deck. Another thing that you have to consider is due to the fact that you are playing a long game, later down the line, there will be decisions that can affect the overall outcome of the game. So for climbing purposes only, avoid playing control decks. And focus on playing faster decks like aggressive decks. Tip number 4. So play when you were in the mood. So though it seems like it is already obvious, some of us are still playing even after getting tilted. If you will play when you are tilted, there is a high chance that your decisions during the game will be clouded and will affect the outcome of your games. That's why it is very important to be aware of your mental and emotional state when you are playing. Some of the characteristics of a tilted card gamer is number 1, takes their actions too fast. This results to mistakes that can affect the outcome of the game, like wasted mana or a wasted card, or a mistake that can cause you to lose your important unit in the board that probably it is your only win condition, and if you lose that, you will also lose the game. And also number two characteristics of a tilted card gamer is uh, when they are blaming the deck for losing the game. So you have to remember that this is a card game and there are times when you will not draw the cards that you need in some situations. So taking a deep breath when faced in these situations helps to maintain your mental composure. So that is the fourth tip. Another interesting consideration to keep in mind is you can't play 100% for 24 hours. So when you feel like your decision is uh, being affected by your fatigue, it doesn't hurt to rest and then play another game the next day. So the final tip is to this is a bonus tip because I mentioned that I'll be giving 4 tips, right? So for the final tip or the bonus tip, it is so for the final tip, it is to watch other players play the game. So there were a lot of YouTube videos about Legends of Runeterra. One is obviously my channel wherein I play a different decks every day. Watching other people play the game makes you become inspired to also play the game. Generally, YouTube content creators like me post videos when we are winning. So as a viewer, you can always see the perspective of the winning side. So that is all for the video. Doing this video is very rewarding and I would like to say good luck on your climb for this season named A Curious Journey. Please like, share, and subscribe for more videos.